going on, everybody? Welcome to the Hash It Out Show. We are back. I'm your host, the one, the only JB, your sports guy. And tonight, everyone, I'm joined by the familiar two that you always see on here. My good friend, Mr. VK Jones. VK, what's going on?
What's up, man? Happy New Year to everybody out here in Hash It Out Land. And Jared JB, I love you to death, dude. But y'all gotta change the background, bro. This ain't the Shaw Eagles Network, okay? You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
We gotta keep it a little professional, man. Like you to death, bro. But we gotta go forward, you know. That's what it is. But it's your show, bro. It's whatever you want.
That's right. See, you know what? Before I get back to you, my other good friend on here, the one and only George Peppers. What's going on, George Peppers?
what's up, gentlemen? Happy New Year to both of you and to everyone listening here on stream. As you can tell, it sounds like I'm coming down with a little something. Hopefully, it's nothing. But I'm here to join y'all. And I'm not going to say anything bad about the background. I like my host. I like my co-host. But a little maize, well, I ain't going to say maize and blue because they lost the team that got ramrodded Monday night. So I won't say that. But red, white, and blue works for me. And whatnot. So, but no, it's your show, like we said. But the three of us, great team. Let's go knock it out the park, gentlemen.
Thank you. We will knock it out the park. But before I go on, let me get
All
back to
right.
Mr. VK Jones here. Tomorrow we will have another background. See, just don't be jumping no gun. See, I ain't say nothing when I had Coach Foster and St. Aug in the background. I ain't say nothing at all about putting that up there.
Dude.
How dare you? But you won't say something about Shaw when I put the Shaw Eagles on the background. How dare you? Wait till the next time I put something about St. Aug in my background on this show. We'll see.
I'm gonna apologize to you on that.
You damn right you will.
Hey, well, let me tell you something. I'm gonna apologize for one reason only, because this is our show, but it's your baby. All right, you put that together, and I'm proud of you for that. But I'm not gonna apologize at the fact that you making this like the Shaw Eagles Network. That's the only thing. But this is your show, and I will apologize for you on that part. But at the same time, we're gonna keep that in the past. We didn't had our debates before and everything else. All I'm gonna tell you, I respect all Shaw Eagles. Okay, I respect y'all. You know what I'm saying? No disrespect. We didn't have our intense battles, and I done met so many, not just so many alumnus, but alumnus I know personally. So it's all to the good. We try to have a couple of famous ones, but we didn't have some good Eagles on the show and some Purple Knights as well. But we shared the stage with everybody. So that's what Hash It Out is all about. It's just all fun and games with me and Jared, man. It's just fun and games, and I can't say anything. I can't say nothing about my Purple Knights because it didn't look too good last night. But that's something we'll talk about tomorrow night's show more than anything else. But hey, it is what it is. But it's good to be here. But sorry, brother. It's all to the good. I just can't wait till this intense rivalry happens again, and I don't know when it's gonna happen. But it is what it is.
Move on. Let's talk about this thing all and all that.
Yeah, it's whatever.
Purple chumps. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I said it. Purple chumps. Anyway, let's move on.
All right.
Look at it. He get it like, all right. That boy got low. All right.
Now see, you don't want to. Now remember, you don't want that year to come back on you sooner or later. Now we ain't got nothing to go against each other on this year. Nothing at all. Period. So plain and simple. 2 years ago, you got your piece of humble pie, and last year you got it back. So it's all good. It's everything's even now. So we got nothing to play on, nothing to play for, nothing. So it's good.
All right. Let's get going. This past Monday night, we had the college football national championship. Georgia taking on TCU, and What a debacle it was. Georgia dominated from start to finish, looking like the elite team that they are. And TCU never had an answer defensively or offensively, which is the reason now that I will say they need to hurry up and get to this 12-team playoff in a heartbeat after what we saw on Monday, because you need your elite teams in the championship, and TCU just wasn't ready at all and just not elite enough to hang with Georgia. Man, right before halftime, I went on Facebook and say everyone can turn this game off now. It was over with. Even had a friend bet me. He said, "I bet you your PS5 that TCU will come back. My PS5 for $550." I like, okay, bet.
So he's gonna give you the money?
Oh yeah, he give me the money. He gonna give me that money, most definitely. But George, I'm gonna let you go first, man. Give us your thoughts about the debacle of the national championship that we saw.
Before I break down the game, how about the highlight of Monday night? David Pollock in the pregame on the stage with Nick Saban. When Pollock looked Saban in the eye and said, Georgia is now taking over as the big dog in the SEC. Did y'all see the look on Uncle Nick's face Monday night?
I
I
think Nick
didn't.
wanted to slap the taste out of David Pollock's mouth.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think he wanted to do what Shannon Sharp should have done to Skip Bayless. But you
Yeah.
know what? Shannon showed a lot of decorum, but that's another story for another day. Now, as far as the game, Vashawn, I sent you a long message a few minutes before we hit air. I said I was going to make some very pointed remarks. You're right. TCU wasn't ready to play, wasn't ready for this limelight. But what really chirps me about what happened is that the reactionary society that America is, not including the present company, we're not talking about us, said, and I quote post game, TCU shouldn't have made the playoff. The same idiots, sports media, that said, and I quote, TCU deserved to be in the playoff. They beat Michigan. Shouldn't have, but they did. I'll be completely honest. Michigan would have given Georgia a lot better game. What TCU did against Michigan was they turned them over and they forced a lot of penalties, something no one had done all year. Michigan was number one in the country in both those categories. Those are facts. Numbers don't lie. But as far as the game Monday night, it was over when the teams got on the field at SoFi. It was over. Georgia's physicality, Georgia's big playability. TCU had not seen a team like that all year. They have played a lot of close to the best teams that can go up top, but those teams are identified as pounded and ground and pound and maybe hit you deep. They didn't play a team that was that wide based as the Georgia Bulldogs, and it showed. Look, Max Duggan was made to be an ordinary quarterback, and did you really think Georgia's defense was going to play like they did in the semifinal? Hell no. I mean, Ohio State's an elite offense. Say what you want about the late game, and Ryan May really outthought himself. They should have won that game, but look, that's whatever. They botched up the last set of plays before the field goal, leaving your kicker on an island. Stupid play calling down the stretch in that game. But in this game, what's there to talk about in the game itself? I mean, sure, I'll sing the accolades of Stetson Bennett. Does that mean I'm a convert to his greatness? No. I do think he's a very good quarterback. Do I think he's elite? No. I think going forward, when we get to the NFL draft in April, this will be a fun discussion. What team fits his mold? I do have a couple of teams in mind. And I do think he did improve his draft stock immensely. He's gone from a day 3 to a potential definite day 2 pick, I think.
I agree.
You look at the makeup and Vashawn, what did you call him? The inspiration of life, right? Let's tell you what, to those who do not know Stetson Bennett's background, please do yourself a favor, look this man up. And if you're not inspired by what he did in his career, then you've got no motivation to drive for yourself. Look at what that man's had to overcome. Straight up. Now, again, we pick on Vashawn because Stetson is not the best quarterback in this draft. He's not even close to that. But you know what? His mental makeup and his ability to hit passes He deserves an opportunity at this next level. He's going to get it. And like I said, I have a few teams in mind that would absolutely fit his mold. One of them not too far from where we reside. So there's really, Jared, not much to say, but Sean, about this game at all. Georgia dominated from start to finish. You can't really break it down where it was won or lost. It was won or lost before they hit the field. So there's really not a whole lot you can dissect from the game itself. I just look at the other stuff, the matchup itself and how dominant Georgia was. There were people suggesting that Alabama should have been in the playoff. Man, we had this discussion. Slow your roll. I mean, yeah, they look great against K State, but whatever. Look, Georgia's a two-time national champion. They go for the three-peat next year, and I agree with you guys. I'm with you, Jared. I think a 12-team playoff better happen fast because I don't think TCU would have had a prayer to get there, but that's just me.
VK.
Well, it wasn't really much of a game at all. Before I give my accolades to who I knew I'm going to give my accolades to, first of all, Michigan could have gave Georgia a game. I think they would have. I do agree with you on that, George. Another thing is we're not going to discount what TCU has done this year. They had a great season and everything else. This plain and simple, and I'm going to be real. Let's be honest. TCU went against a team that has experience in this thing and handled business. That's plain and simple. This is not chess, not checkers. It was just an experienced Georgia team that's been there, done that. Experience triumphs over inexperience all the time. We see that experience. I don't give a damn what anybody says. We didn't see it too many times in championships where a team, an upstart team, comes and do well. But what teams do, there's snakes in the grass. They come down. You make that mistake, bam! Every time. It's all day, every day. That's why Georgia handled business, a lot more experience than they did. TCU, they had a great season. The team, I call them the team of destiny, but the destiny finally ran out. It was just straight domination by the Bulldogs. No questions asked. Could TCU have a chance in the 12-game playoff? To be honest with you, yes. What they did to Michigan, the thing about it, and I give Michigan credit for the comeback, but people underestimated TCU, and TCU proved everyone wrong. The thing is, yeah, the 12 team a little bit tougher, but I think TCU will win a couple of those games. Just to be honest. You know what I'm saying? Just to be honest. Would they win a championship? It'd be tougher with the 12 teams. But they would have a chance. But at the same time, the 12 team would be interesting for some of these big squads and even some of these little squads. But here's the thing to do in the future to have a chance to win the title. Schedule a little more tougher. Meaning, do what Texas did when they had a chance to win the national championship, when they won it with Vince Young. What was that one game they scheduled that helped them down the line? They went to Columbus and they beat Ohio State. You need a game like that, TCU. You need a game like that, like a Cincinnati or a Tulane or something who wants to have a chance in this 12-game playoff. Play a tough game. Not just play tough, get the win. And that will help you down the line against these tough teams. You really have to play these games. You have to play them to prepare you. I think TCU will become better at this, especially the year they had with a lot of the great recruits, a lot of the experienced players returning, and a very good bit of recruits that are coming, including a potential transfer that might come that might really help them down the line. But at the same time, very great future under their head coach and Sonny Dykes. He's done a great job. I really think they need a new defensive coordinator. The scheme they have is not really a good scheme. It's not. It's not bad if you have speedsters that they do, but you're gonna need a little more pressure than that, and you're gonna need some faster linebackers, and not that maybe change it up with maybe much better defensive lineman. Maybe go to a 4-3 or something like that. But it's ridiculous what happened. But for the Bulldogs. The Georgia Bulldogs, I mean, they did it all, handled their business, including my man, the dude that is the inspiration of life right now, that's Stetson Bennett. He overcame a lot. Like George said, do the research. After what he has overcome, this man here is the champ. There's a reason why he's the champ. There's a reason why he's the champ. That man has overcome a lot to get where he is. And for the rest of Stetson Bennett's life, he does not have to pay a meal in Georgia. He does not have to pay for gas. Nothing. This man has now only lost, 3 games as a starter? 2 national championships, undefeated season, back-to-back titles. What you can say, you can never say anything to my man Stetson Bennett, the champ. The champ is here. He's proven it. He's gonna go into the draft. He's definitely gonna be a day two guy. Might not be a great quarterback, but for the rest of his life in the state of Georgia, he's a big time star for the rest of his life. He's got swag. He's doing his thing. Who knows? If he goes in the NFL, go by storm, he might be another Tom Brady. Not the great Tom Brady. Not the great Tom Brady. Not winning those 6 titles. We're not talking about that. We're talking about what Tom Brady overcame for him to become great. And that's what I mean by similarity to Tom Brady. Tom Brady was picked late at 7, and look how he became up. He was a starter at Michigan, but look at the impact Stetson Bennett has done, and everybody's just doubting him now as a pro. I cannot wait till he comes in the league and just kills everything. Not wait for it. Stetson Bennett, dude, my inspiration, buddy. Very happy. I watched him play at Jones College. I called the game between CCC and Jones. That man can play. He's gonna be good in the league. I'm coming to get you, Stetson. I'm coming to Athens, and we're gonna slap everybody in the face after all them people died at you. You the man, bro. You the champ.
Are you done with this Stetson Bennett thing? You done now?
Sickening.
It ain't sickening. You guys have bought in. You bought into the train now.
It's
Come on,
not.
you came to the light. See, George, you said he's elevated his draft stock. You agreed, Jared. So guess what,
I
man?
agree, but I ain't jumping on the Stetson Bennett bandwagon.
Listen, I just told you, I'm not saying he's going to be the great quarterback he's going to be. I did not say that. I said he's
we
going
know
to
what you said.
overcome
What he's done for
things.
Georgia legend, 2-time national champion. We got all that. We got it. I just asked, are you done talking about him so I can say what I gotta say?
Go ahead, say what you got to say. We don't want to knock out the host. Go ahead, bro. We're just getting started. Go ahead, dog. Go ahead, big dog.
Now, Sonny Dykes is a great coach. I saw what Sonny Dykes did personally at Louisiana Tech when he got there, how he changed that program around. We saw what he did when he went to California with Jared Goff. We saw what he did at SMU. Sonny Dykes has changed programs for the better. And his first year at TCU, he did a marvelous job. But defensively for this game, I just don't know what they were doing. If you saw me on Facebook, I kept putting a picture up of his defensive coordinator at Louisiana Tech, Tommy Spangler. Tommy Spangler had some of the best talent ever. Hear me out now. Rufus Porter, Chad Boyd, Kendrick James, Shaquille Lucas, Josh Victorian, Terry Carter. That's just to name a few. And he even had these people out of position with the stuff he would call. That's all I'm saying. And it looked the exact same way. People were out of position, making mistakes. They looked bad on defense. Couldn't make any adjustments whatsoever. They could have had the best defensive coordinator in the world, but guess what? It wouldn't have been enough for this game. This team was just too dominant. They were experienced, and at the same time, not only experienced, a lot of them starters are coming back next year. A whole lot. So Georgia's going to be tough to beat next year. The backup quarterback that came in looked good. The backup running back that came in looked good. Georgia just looked good overall. And this might be the new golden standard in college football. It may be the Georgia Bulldogs. It's just, we just got to wait and see or whatever. But I'm not taking anything away from Georgia. They look phenomenal. From start to finish, TCU looked bad. And Max Duggan. Let me get on Max Duggan right quick, man. Because there were people saying, get him out the game. Because he looked terrible. He looked bad. And that was, I don't know if it was nerves. I don't know if the pressure got to him. I don't know. But Max Duggan looked bad. That's all I got to say. Besides Ohio State to the one that playoff game against Georgia. I'll leave it at that. But 12-team playoff has to happen now. I don't want to wait another year.
Now,
we're going to get the best team, and what we saw that happen, we don't want that again.
Now, here's the thing. I think things will get better, especially for next season. Like I said, you're right about, I think we can't say, somebody was saying on the comments that TCU should never be in the championship. I'm never going to say that because of the fact of the matter is TCU has made strides over the years, and for them to get where they did, it's amazing. You have to think this team I believe 15, no, maybe almost 20 years ago, went undefeated and won the freaking road under Gary Patterson. So for now, the son of Spike Dykes taking a team to the national championship game in his first year, you see the progress. Is TCU a power? Yes, because the reason why they moved up to the 12, they moved up to a power 5, and now they work their way to it. So now they're gonna have to get better for them to get there. Now, you look at the future. You look at the future going forward. Georgia. Are they the favorites to go 3 times? Yeah. The big question is going to be quarterback. The backup look good, but it's going to be different as him being a starter. We got to see what he does, because if he does well early in the season and being good as a consistent starter, yeah, Georgia's going to be there. My early favorite to maybe win the college football playoff next year is LSU, because LSU is returning numerous starters, including their starting quarterback. I'm telling you, the LSU Tigers are going to be favorites next year to win the national championship.
No, they're not.
What you mean? No, they. What you mean? No, they.
No favorite, bro.
They are returning. Jared, they're returning. They're returning. Listen to me. They're returning. I'm going to say it again. They're returning 18 starters, including the starting quarterback.
That's nice.
And you think, listen to me.
Head coach can't win no big game. Their head coach can't win a big game.
Wait a minute. What they did? Hold on. What they did against Bama? Hold on. What they did against Bama? He put that. Listen, hold on. No. Hold on. Time out.
He can't win the big game.
Time out. I understand. Time out, Jared. Jared, I get what you're saying, Jared. But this is just year 1, okay? I'm hoping Brian Kelly learns from this, especially near the end of the season. I hope he learns from this. But plain and simple, a coach like that who put his nuts on the table and beat Bama, to me, gonna have a chance at the championship next year. I said LSU's the favorite. I get what you're saying.
Like Les Miles what they call Les Miles, the Riverboat Gambler.
Big Nuts Les, what they call him. I guess I don't mean to say it like this for PG show, but I'm just saying I get what you're talking about. But I'm telling you, I like what LSU's got coming back, and for them to put the performance they put is a statement that these cats is coming back hard, and they're gonna remember what Georgia did to them in the SEC championship. They're gonna remember this. And they're not going to forget this, and there's going to be motivation for them to try to win that title next year.
That's if they get back, bro.
I think they will. There's no doubt. George, your thoughts?
Jimmy, we about to get on USC in a second. I'm going to let George get the last word on this right quick. We about to get on USC, all right?
Yes, we are.
If I'm saying Brian Kelly can't win the big games, you know I'm going to say about Lincoln Riley can't win a big game at all. Go ahead, George.
In the words of our esteemed host, I'm going to talk about Lincoln Riley because every one of you pigs out there that keeps saying he's an elite coach, y'all can kick rocks in the words of VK Jones. Now, let me address this other elephant in the room. All right, about Brian Kelly and whatnot. I think Brian Kelly recruited a different breed of athlete at Notre Dame. I think he understands the recruiting wars in the SEC. It's a different brand.
He has better talent.
Right. There is better talent. And he's right. Numerically speaking, 18 starters is a ton to bring back. I wonder about the scandal that is out there, supposedly is being drawn up about the fact that there was a foursome involving Keishon Butte, Cortez Hankton, and another coach. Mm-hmm. What that's going to entail, I don't know. That might be just a hemorrhoid that you can cure or whatnot. Who knows? Now, as far as the landscape of LSU being a favorite in the SEC or the SEC West, I just want some clarification. Is it the West, Vashawn, or is it the whole SEC?
The whole SEC.
You tripping. Big tripping. My God.
How big trip? We know. I'm gonna say this. Georgia is the cream of the crop. Don't get me wrong. Georgia is the cream of the crop. Right behind them is LSU. I'm being honest. I understand. No disrespect to Bama. No disrespect.
But like I said, let George finish.
Go ahead, George.
He's good. He's good. Let him make his fun. I'm good. I'm listening.
No.
Listen, that's what this show's about.
Finish off, brother.
I got you. It's a healthy debate that we're having. And to Mr. Crawford, I'm going to address you in a little bit, buddy. Sit tight. Get the popcorn and the Pepsi. I got my Pepsi right here. I'm going to address you, my man. All love, though. Remember, that's how we debate. But if you can honestly say with a straight face, as you just did, that LSU is going to be, quote, the favorite in the SEC, Jared, I don't know if you drug test on this show, but you might have to start, bro.
I might have to start,
because LSU were reacting to a 62-7 shellacking of Bonneville High School. Purdue, in their Citrus Bowl game. That was a mismatch from the word go. Aaron O'Connell didn't play, and a numerous number. They could have got the Pope to coach Purdue, and it wouldn't have been close. That point spread was an absolute joke. LSU was supposed to cover that for fun. Now, I seem to think Nick didn't forget how to recruit. Alabama finished top dog, and they picked up a ton of talent. Oh, by the way, my man Eli Holstein is going to Alabama, right?
That's right.
Last I checked, that dude can play the position of quarterback. Bryce Young going is going to hurt a little bit if Eli takes the job in the spring. Look, the talent that they got coming back, the running back they got is going to be better. I'm not sure about the quarterback that replaced Bryce Young. I think Eli's got a chance to beat that guy out. But Nick is notorious for playing freshmen. That dude is not. There's not a freshman that dude is not afraid to play. Y'all know this.
Yep.
But if I'm going to put LSU in any landscape, I'm going to throw another team in the wrinkle. Not so much as favorites, but just to keep an eye out for. Because I believe in this coach. They're not going to win the SEC East next year, but I do believe they'll be markedly improved, and that's Florida. I know it's going to stink that Anthony Richardson's not coming back, but Billy Napier's not a bad coach, and he's going to show his wares next year. This is where it's nut crunch. Excuse me for saying it, nut crunching time. I think Napier's going to get it. Tennessee's going to be there. So LSU's better than Florida. LSU's better than Tennessee. Oh, Tennessee smoked LSU this year, by the way, y'all. If y'all didn't miss it, yes, Hendon Hooker's probably gone. I think he's draft eligible, Jared. Correct?
Who?
I believe Hendon Hooker. I
He
know
is
he's got
draft
the ACL.
eligible. He is.
Okay,
It's just the fact of that ACL tear, what he
I think
decides
he's
to do.
coming back. So
If
if him
if, if
coming back tells, what's that?
here's the thing, and
All
I'm gonna
right,
say, this right quick.
all
I
right.
said it. I said it with a straight face. You're talking about getting drug tested. I said it with
I
a
was
straight
just
face.
kidding, man.
I know, but I said
Don't
it.
get me feelings, dude.
Was I the one that said it with a straight face that Tennessee was gonna be Bama, and I was dead right.
On the
I
last
said,
second field goal,
regardless,
on the
they
last second
won.
field goal,
It
we
don't
always did.
matter. It don't
Okay,
matter. A win is a win, George. A
I
win is a
understand that.
win. And
I totally understand that.
Josh Heupel, just like Brian Kelly, put his nuts on the table and got the ball back and we won the game.
I know
That's
we're
what you
talking too much.
do. You go win the
Okay,
game. So they
you,
did it. So guess what? I'm saying this right now. If Hendon Hooker comes back to Tennessee, I'm gonna say this. Tennessee will be right there in the thick of things as favorites too. I'm gonna
I want to
definitely
say,
say that. I'm gonna definitely
I'm
say
gonna,
that, especially Hendon Hooker. If he comes back, Tennessee is definitely gonna be one of the front runners of the SEC in the SEC this time. Because you got to
Jared.
think, it's
Okay.
just amazing how the year they had this year, but then everything just fell on into place because of the beatdown of Georgia. And it seemed like the beatdown was so much of an epic proportions. You looked at what happened the last couple of weeks with Tennessee, especially losing to South Carolina. And then on top of that, that Hooker gets hurt. And very unfortunate. But at the same time, for them to take them beat down losses than they did. So it's just the fact Tennessee is going to learn from it. Tennessee's going to be ready for vengeance to bear. I think the only thing they'll have to worry about is a road game at Bama because Georgia is going to come to their house. So it's going to be interesting for the Tennessee Vols next year, especially if Hooker returns. LSU, I'll tell you one thing. Bama, their schedule might be favorable because a lot of their big games are going to be home next year. So that could be something that Bama could take advantage of. So I can definitely say that. So, but at the same time, I'm still saying LSU could be one of the favorites. Definitely,
You
Georgia's definitely on the top in the SEC.
you forget one little factoid. Opening week this year in the Caesar Superdome, Florida State walked into this building and beat LSU on the square. LSU's got to play this game next year in Disney in Orlando. That's the return trip. Do they
Camping World
leave Disney
Stadium.
with the? Yes, exactly. But do they leave there with the W? They're capable. But Mike Norvell did a very good job at Florida State this year, and they
He
rallied
did.
back in their bowl
He
game
absolutely
against
did.
Oklahoma. And that's a good football team. Look, Oklahoma had trouble this year, and Norvell was found chasing that game. They chased and they caught. So LSU opens with them. If they pass Florida State opening week, I'm not going to buy completely in. Look, I like Brian Kelly, and I remember what I said on Facebook when the man got hired. But Sean, you know what I am about Brian Kelly, the coach. X's and O's. Why the guy knows how to win. It's the big games that I need to see the big boy
Told
pants
you.
come on and handle your business. Big boy games meaning playoff, meaning getting to the biggest show where the lights are brightest. But at Notre Dame, again, it's a different breed of athlete. And not disrespecting Notre Dame, but it's a different breed of athlete. They got
Yes.
good kids there. But oh, by
Yep.
the way, one of my best bowl picks came up right. So just to throw this out there, I had Notre Dame over South Carolina. They won for what that is. But for LSU to be a national championship contender, they're going to have to win in a place where it's almost impossible. Do you know how many home games Alabama has lost in Nick Saban's 12 years? Or how many years has he been there? 14? Try 11.
That's
So
it.
LSU is going to be that team that goes in there and beats them, right? That's what you're telling me. Darren, am I hearing this right?
That's what you're hearing. And before
Yes,
we
I'm
move
saying
on,
it.
I want
I
to say
think.
one thing.
Go ahead.
Do not overlook the South Carolina Gamecocks.
If Shane Beamer's still their coach, there's talk that he may bolt for a couple of the remaining openings.
We'll see.
If Shane's still their coach, I buy that. I
Man,
agree. But he's
I
also got the man. He's got the man, the myth, the legend coming back too. It was announced today that the man, the myth, the legend's coming back. Spencer Rattler.
That's
man,
right, baby.
let me tell you something about South Carolina right now. South Carolina, big ups to them, but are they SEC ready? And I'm gonna
Yes.
say it again. Yes. Are they Georgia ready?
No.
I'm gonna say what I
No
said.
one is.
Thank you. That's what I'm gonna say. What I said about Tennessee. Are you Georgia ready?
Is LSU Georgia
Anytime.
ready?
The thing
Not a
is,
chance.
that's the thing. Are they? South Carolina is a good team. Shane Beam has proven he's a very good coach. I give him his props. Spencer Rattler, your guy, Jared. Speaking all the praise of your guy. I'm gonna say this. He had a not bad year. My biggest thing is it's time for him to stay consistent. If you that guy, prove you that guy. Caleb Williams proved that he was that guy. You seen it in person. He proved that he that guy. I want Spencer Rattler to do this all year.
All
All
right.
year. That's all.
Speaking of Caleb Williams, as we move on now to the Cotton Bowl that happened in Arlington, Texas at AT&T Stadium. The Tulane Green Waves took on the USC Trojans, and there were more Tulane fans there than USC Trojans fans. But Tulane, with the win in one of the best games this year, one of the best games in the bowl season. I was at this game when halftime hit. This is what I said. They need to run the ball with Tyjae Spears more, and they need to stay with their receivers on defense because Caleb Williams was connecting on a lot of broken plays. Broken plays. He was tearing them up, but it was on broken plays. Him moving to the side, all that good stuff. Long, drawn-out plays. When that score got to 45-30, I was like, with 4 minutes left, I said a miracle got to happen for these guys to win. Tulane scores in 2 plays. So it's 45-37 now. And then the kickoff fumble at the 1, I was like, I even said it. I said, they get a safety, they will get the ball back. Lo and behold, safety. Tulane fan going nuts. We in there going nuts. We get the ball. Then we drive down the field, score the touchdown, extra points. It's deafening inside AT&T Stadium. Deafening. And then Tulane gets the win. Unbelievable. I was so happy to be a part of that game. One of the best games I've ever seen in person. Tyjae Spears over 200-something yards rushing on just 17 attempts. Should have had more carries because USC could not stop Tyjae Spears. They couldn't do it. 17 attempts, that's it. 200-something yards. I'd have ran Tyjae all day on USC. But you got to keep defense honest. But with that being said, man, you have to give the Tulane Green Wave a lot of credit for this win. A great season. Willie Fritz on a fabulous job with what he did with this Tulane team from a season ago, from 2-10 to 12-2. George Peppers, your thoughts about Tulane's win the Cotton Bowl?
Credit Tulane for staying in it. Credit Tulane and Willie Fritz and that coaching staff and every player on that field for not giving up and fighting. Because USC absolutely gift wrapped that football game late. It was a 49, what was it, a 15-point game with 4 minutes to go? A little more than 4 minutes to go. And USC proceeded to gag it away. Oh, Lincoln Riley, you last 6 times you've been up 2 scores late in a football game, you lost. And it happened again. Hence why I'm not going to use the Rice football label on this man. I thought about it. because I do think he's grossly overrated. And you lost a 15-point lead to Tulane with Caleb Williams, the Heisman Trophy winner, as your quarterback. Nothing he did wrong. He had a hell of a game. Your defense is straight, I'll say it, straight trash. That defense couldn't stop a fart in the wind. Okay, it's a simple. They couldn't. Then don't tell. And Tajay Spears showed America how good he is. We already knew watching this team and covering this team, and we've seen this team up close and personal.
Yeah.
Jared, especially you, season ticket holder. And credit on you for finding a way to get to Arlington, considering the issues of
Ooh,
flights.
issues
I
I
mean,
had.
going in, I mean, it was horrible. I followed your
T-
post, dude, and I was like, man, I hope you get there, bro, because you deserve to be in that number. Why? Because you
tell them people what time you got into to Dallas, Mr.
Arlington.
Jerry. Tell the audience right quick what time you got there.
So I had a flight to get to Dallas at 8 o'clock in the morning. I got to the gate. The flight got delayed 3 hours. 10 minutes later, the flight was canceled. So everybody get on their feet and go into the desk to try to rebook a flight. I went on my phone and rebooked a flight for later that afternoon. Got on that flight, had a layover in Houston, got to Dallas at 9:30, 9:30 p.m.
PM.
p.m. Okay. The
Mm-hmm.
next day, went to the game. When I left, I saw that my flight was delayed, and I saw that an earlier flight that was nonstop was also delayed. So I switched to that nonstop. But lo and behold, we waited for a pilot for over an hour and a half. And then when we got to the runway, we waited on the runway for another hour, 15 minutes. I didn't get home. I didn't land until 11 o'clock that night.
Mm.
So yeah, it was some rough stuff at Southwest. But I got to the game, I made it, it's all that matter. Go ahead, George.
Yeah, I mean, look, I would not wish that on anybody except for maybe Dennis Allen if we could get rid of him, but that's another story. Um, just saying. But the Tulane not quitting. Michael Pratt had the game of his life. Tajay Spears had the game of his life. And it took every bit of it for Tulane to grab the win. I'll say this. We were a part of something special this year. Jared, you were more than the both of us because we went to a couple of games, but you went to every game. You were, no doubt, Tulane, green, white supporter, true and true, and big ups for being in that number in Dallas. You know, there would have been season ticket holders that couldn't make the game, but you found a way. It, I'll tell you what, the mailman slogan really hit it, didn't it, through rain, sleet, or snow, except for the weather. But it was a lot of turbulence to get there. But you know
Yeah.
what? For the Tulane fans, I didn't see the game. I'll say this, though, sharing a quick story about when I was at work that day. All right. Tried to get off, couldn't. But hey, it is what it is. That time and a half is really good. It hits good on that paycheck. So, um, well, when it was 49-34 with 4.5 minutes to go, I was like, oh, it's done. I didn't think they were coming back. So I was on a tier. Then I caught my break about an hour later, went down to the lobby and saw one of my coworkers whose son plays at De La Salle. Kendrick Richardson is the kid
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about. I saw his daddy because he works with us at the jail when he's not working the streets. And he told me, and yeah, he said, Pap, did Tulane won? I was like, you're lying. I didn't think they came back. I said, oh, USC's got it 15 points. I'm like, oh, it's done. So I said, wow. So he pulls up the game video and I'm watching it. Like, how the heck did they come back? You know what? Perseverance and heart for one, but a little help from USC choking down the stretch. What the heck was that kid returner thinking? Wait, what was he thinking? I mean, thank you, buddy. I mean, hey, look, you opened that door for the Tulane Green Wave, and they crashed right in. They stormed that door,
Yeah.
but good up. But you know what? Willie Fritz, National Coach of the Year. Told you, Jared. I thought he was a legit candidate. You agreed, but some people perceive that Sonny Dykes was
Sonny
going to win it.
Dykes. Yeah.
I said no. To me, Fritz's turnaround was more impossible because they were 2-10 last year. TCU at least had a sustained run of success before him with Gary Patterson. Tulane went from 2-10 to 12 and 13-2, and they finished number 9 in the polls. And there were some LSU fans actually suggesting they should have been ranked above Tulane. mean, get out of here.
No.
Stop it. Stop it. Silliness. But congratulations to Tulane. Great year. And don't think this is the only time we'll see Tulane in this spot because now with the makeover of the AAC with who's leaving, Tulane's going to be here for a while, boys. And y'all better learn to accept it for those of you that are hating.
VK.
Oh man, what a situation when I watched it. I was at a Hooters watching the both games was on the screen at the same time. When the LSU game got out the way, they had the LSU sound all through the day until they see it was one side and they said, "Hey, switch the sound to the Tulane game." So they switched it, and LSU Tulane fans together in unity, cheering the green wave, and it was like, oh my goodness. And the ball went crazy. We seen a couple of former Tulane Green Wave, probably your couple, one of your alumnus, Jared, Terrell,
Harris?
Terrell Harris was up in there. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
I know, I think somebody was another. There was another Tulane guy that was up in there. I forgot his name, but there was a couple Tulane guys up in there. And oh man, it was just so amped up. One of my guys that I worked with, Kendall Francis, was a member of that undefeated team.
Yeah.
Bernard Robinson, he was up in there in Dallas. Xander Robinson, who watched the game from John Everett. A bunch of those boys who was members of the undefeated team. And they said it themselves after the ball game that this is the best season ever. This tops the undefeated season. Because what they done was something in the history of Tulane when they went undefeated, but this is bigger. I said that on my post, and my cousin, I understand he had an opinion, and I respect that. But at the same time, he said it was equal. Okay, I'm good with that. To me, this is absolutely better. You had to think. At the time when Tulane went undefeated, yeah, they finished, I think, with 7th in the nation. They beat a BYU team. BYU was a good program, but this is not comparing to USC, a multiple national champion, a Power 5 team in the Cotton Bowl. And
In the
now you have to
Heisman.
think. And against the Heisman Trophy winner. So that trumps the BYU win. Off riff. And for them to win it in the biggest, one of the biggest New Year's Day bowls. Remember, the Cotton Bowl years ago wasn't really the big bowl like it used to be.
Correct.
But thank you to the college football playoff and the New Year's Six.
Yes.
Brought it back to where it was. So for that, the Tulane Green Wave, how they came back, and the biggest thing I said during the game, keep scoring, keep scoring, keep scoring. You keep scoring, you stay in this game. But what a break for Tulane. That kickoff right there, I couldn't believe it. The first play, and this was the thing, the defensive line couldn't get through to get a cold except for those two plays. They knocked him in the backfield, got to the 1 inch. Patrick Jenkins, the former John Everett Patriot, just straight up, boom, gets the safety. And guess what? Tulane has the ball. I'm thinking in the back of my mind, Tulane might win this freaking game. They might win this game. And they did it. And they tried to take it away from Tulane. Cover these questionable calls and everything. They big time missed the targeting call right there when Deuce Watts caught that ball.
I disagree. I don't think
Okay. Tell me why. You tell me why you say it wasn't targeted. You tell
Number
me.
one, it wasn't the top of the crown. Number one. Number two, your boy, and I'm always gonna say this: when offensive player brace for impact, you got to look at the defensive player where his eyes are, because his eyes gonna lead you to the tackle. They're already in tackle motion to get you where you are. So when the offensive player braces for impact and comes down, that should never be a penalty on a defensive player. That's why I will always say that it's not targeting, and that's what happened. Your boy was in tackle motion already to make the tackle. Your boy saw him with the ball and braced him and went down, and that's what happened. I thought it was a great call.
I did agree. He was not indefensible.
He wasn't defensive either.
He wasn't defenseless, but you have to think he led from the crown. You cannot lead from the crown of your helmet.
The
You
crown
cannot.
didn't
That's
hit.
what the
The
rule is
crown didn't
now.
hit. The crown didn't hit. The crown
George,
didn't hit, and they even announced that the crown didn't hit. It wasn't targeting. The crown didn't hit.
George, are you
You
in
got to
agreement
be able
with
to
that?
see what you got to be able to see what you're gonna tackle.
George,
That's it.
Are you agreeing with that, George? Was it targeting or wasn't?
He didn't see the game.
I don't know
Did
if
we
he
lose
has.
George?
He must have lost him because
Must have lost George.
he's like, wait a minute.
Oh,
George, can you agree? He'll usually
I'm
answer.
here. Look,
Okay.
I did not see the game as mentioned. The actual call I didn't see because under the spliced highlights that I found, it was on YouTube, and they didn't show that call. They did show the kick returner making the gaffe of the game where he muffed it and whatnot. So I did watch it back afterward, because I heard a lot of scuttlebutt about was it targeting or was it not. That's a borderline call. I mean, and I've seen it called. In this case, it was, but I've also seen something similar to that not called. So I'm not going to sit here and chew on an official behind that. I'm not going to sit here and criticize the officials. They made a judgment call. They said it wasn't. Oh, it was. Wait, what was the call? Did they say it was targeting?
They said it wasn't
no,
targeting.
it
It
They
wasn't.
said
wasn't.
it wasn't targeting.
Okay,
But
so again,
go
it's a judgment. It's a judgment call, brother. I'm not
okay.
dogging on Tulane. To me, you can make that call, but I wouldn't have been one to think, "Oh my God, it's blatant." No, just like whatnot. What happened. I really don't know if maybe I'll bring it up later with what happened with Damar Hamlin with Buffalo. There were people suggesting Bart Scott saying that T. Higgins should never play football because he led with his helmet in the play, but that's another discussion. Um,
Yeah, we'll talk about that
Also, I will
tomorrow.
say this. Yeah, I will say this though tonight. Our prayers continue to be with him and his family. He is now out of the hospital after
Hmm.
9 days. So continue to get well, little brother. We are praying for you. We want to see you back on the field. I don't know if we will, but we want to see you continue to win the game of life. That's what has to happen. So our prayers from those three. I speak for all of us in saying that about him. But that's a judgment call again. I don't know if it was blatant or if it was one of those situations where you've got to make that call. Remember the situation. It was late on in the football game. Tulane had just taken a lead, correct?
No, they
No,
So
no, that was the
they were
drive. That was the
behind.
drive.
They were
this is the
behind still.
drive.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that was the last
Okay.
drive.
All right. So you got to make a call in a spot. Referees hold their flags in big spots unless it's blatantly obvious. In this case, it wasn't. I'm not saying it wasn't non-callable. I
Hmm.
just don't think it was easy to like, oh yeah, it's definite. No, I don't think it was that. I think it was a judgment call. Was it the right call? That's to be debated. But those officials, kudos to them for at least conferring before they made this call because it wasn't an impromptu call, Jared. It was a call that they discussed at length and
No,
was
It
looked at.
got reviewed. It got
Yeah,
reviewed.
that's what I'm saying. It got reviewed, so everyone involved did their jobs. They made
Hmm.
sure to make the call that they felt was the right and wrong call.
Yeah.
So for Tulane fans, they're like, oh, they should have thrown the flag or whatnot. But objectively speaking, you got to really have hard evidence to make that call, and you didn't have it in this spot. I don't know if it was the wrong call or the right call, but again, you got to have big evidence. So
big time evidence. You're right about that. But I think there was some questionable stuff early in the game that the officials missed. I'm not trying to put everything all on the refs, but there was a lot of one-sidedness with some of the calls on USC side more than anything else. There was a lot of holding calls they missed in that ball game on USC. They missed a lot of them. And for them near the end, almost taken away from Tulane with that catch, for that official to call it incomplete was ridiculous. And I'm glad they reviewed it because I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, incomplete. All right, if you seen this on angle and all of a sudden you look at the replay, the ball was caught, wasn't trapped. It was held on. Unbelievable for Tulane to overcome everything that they had for them to win the ball game. This is big momentum for the Green Wave. They got a celebration on Saturday coming up. I don't know if you got
the 21st. The
21st.
21st.
Oh, the 20. Oh, man. I wish I could go to that. I got so much going on that day. I thought it'd been this weekend. Oh, well. But I know you probably go, Jared. But regardless of the fact, congratulations to Tulane. There's a lot gonna be going on with this football team. A lot of momentum. Michael Pratt's coming back. A lot of players are coming back from this year's Tulane team. Good recruits are coming in. And I'll tell you one thing right now, they are going to be favorites to win the American Conference with all these changes. And also, Tajay Spears. If I'm Tajay Spears, he's hot on the streets right now.
Yeah.
Go to the NFL, bro. Please.
Yeah.
I think he's risen his draft stock not just to an early day 2, but probably an early first round pick. Because you have to think, last 4 games for Tulane, he has averaged over 200 yards in the last 4 games. And that is
the whole
big.
world got to see him against USC, though.
Yes. The whole world got to see him. And then now seeing what he has done through winning the championship conference, he's been amazing. I really think Tajay Spears is going to be late first round going into it. If I'm Spears, if he comes back, great, but I think he needs to strike where the iron's hot.
Let me get to USC right quick. Lincoln Riley is a mastermind on the offensive side of the ball. But what has given Lincoln Riley trouble? Defense. And I tell you what, he's getting everything he deserves, in my opinion. Because he got rid of Ruffin McNeil so he can hire Alex Grinch. And they were saying all this about Alex Grinch as a defensive coordinator, this and that, like he was the best thing since Brent Venables at Clemson. Alex Grinch hasn't shown me anything at all defensively. They can't stop nothing. And it's going back to Oklahoma. This is Lincoln Riley's downfall. He cannot ever have a good defense. And then today, he's keeping Alex Grinch as his defensive coordinator. So guess what's going to happen next year? You ain't stopping nobody with Alex Grinch. You need to let him go get somebody else, bro. Because Alex Grinch is not your answer defensively. He can't stop nothing. He couldn't stop Tulane. Couldn't stop Tajay Spears. I mean, man, he couldn't stop Utah.
The offense
cannot bail you out every game. It ain't gonna happen. Alex Grinch is the most overrated defensive coordinator in college football. Period.
Looks like he's the Grinch that stole USC's Christmas. Because
might as well. I'm sorry, bro. I saw it at Oklahoma, and he took him with him. That defense won't be anything until they can get rid of him. I'm sorry.
Since you guys seen the light in Stetson Bennett, I'm gonna go along with what y'all guys did. Seeing the light in Stetson Bennett. Now I'm starting to see the light with Lincoln Riley. At first, I said Lincoln Riley was a nice coach, not a bad coach, because of what he did at Oklahoma. And to me, I said that because of the fact it's hard to maintain a program. Because usually programs go a great coach, like a Bob Stoops, how you can make it up, how you can maintain. Not too many coaches can maintain programs, and it goes to hell. I gave Lincoln Riley a lot of props because of that, because you have to think, after Barry Switzer left Oklahoma, if you look at the history books, Oklahoma was in holy hell for decades. And they got back up. And for him to maintain it, yeah. But I'm starting to go into the light, fellas. He is starting to be really overrated. How you can't win big games. And then especially not just the fact how they let Tulane come back to win. That's one bad thing. But for them to choke it up against Utah in the Pac-12 championship for an opportunity to go in the playoff. I mean, that's big time, and that's bad. Lincoln Riley is starting to be a very overrated coach. And if he's going to get back on my good graces, they better have a bounce back year some way, somehow, if I'm going to give that man his respect back. I cannot
They
respect
won't.
that
They
because it's
won't.
respect, and he's overrated.
They won't.
I think there's certain coaches that are better than Lincoln Riley. I really
Huh.
think so, and I think he's very, very over. I think there's some better coaches than Lincoln Riley right now because I really think he's. I'm starting to be with y'all guys. He is really starting to be overrated now. It's getting
And
bad.
if
It's worse.
and
Great,
if
George.
you think and if you think that he can't stop anybody right now at the Pac-12, what's gonna happen when they get to the Big Ten? When they pound the rock at you, USC is not gonna know what hit them in that conference. I think tactically it's a mistake for both UCLA and USC to go. Geographically speaking, it makes no sense whatsoever. But this is the world of college football we live in now. You really crushed on Alex Grinch. I get it. I'm with you. I'm going to make another bold spot here. I think Brent Venables will get Oklahoma to a playoff before Lincoln Riley gets the USC to a playoff, even in a 12 teamer. I think Venables will get there. Why?
He
Because I
better do it
think
this year, Brent Venables,
he will,
because
because it's Dylan. I know, because it's Dylan Gabriel. I know. And
no,
they
because
got to
I'm
get.
saying he coming to the SEC. He better get there
Oh,
before he
yeah.
comes to the SEC.
You're right. And them in Texas, yeah, when they get to the SEC, then oops. And that's the banana peel slippage. That's what's going to happen there
See,
because I
see,
think that's a tactical mistake by those two to go to the SEC. They can't compete.
see.
They're not competing.
Now you saw. Now here's the thing: you're starting to see, like I'm seeing.
Oh,
Some people
I said,
said,
oh.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna still say it till I'm blue in the face. Texas A&M made that freaking mistake a little bit, but okay, then it had success in the SEC. I'm gonna give them that. Missouri made that huge mistake,
oh
but
my.
now
They're
Missouri is
actually trying to find a way to trade Missouri out of the SEC. There's been reports.
really.
Yes, there's been
Yes.
reports. Yes.
I'm like this. If that happens, praise Jesus. If Missouri leaves the SEC, I've been preaching this for a long time. Go look at the history of Missouri athletics in the Big 12 before they left for the SEC. The success was starting to be ridiculous. It was about to be historical proportions at that school for football, basketball, baseball, and softball for them to take over the conference, and the fools won't go take the money and get their teeth kicked in. Now they might leave and go back to the Big 12. I hope that happens. Hallelujah. They need a resurgence for real. I know that they made their money. It's time to go get yourselves back and win and get your fan base back. Thank God the basketball program is doing well this year because I know Norm Stewart was sick and tired of rolling his grave to see where that program was going.
All right. Let's get back on
I'm
track.
sorry. I grew up watching college sports, and I grew up watching that Missouri basketball program. And you know this, Jerry. Missouri basketball was consistent and very good and tough back in the day.
I know. I know. All right. Back on track. Back on track.
Back on
Back
track.
on back to USC Tulane.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I was very impressed with the amount of fans that showed up for Tulane. Man, I was impressed. But with that being said, Tulane opens up with Ole Miss at Yeoman Stadium. Can Tulane get the job done, George?
That will be a very big litmus test. But I'll say this: revenge is a dish served well, isn't it? Because
Yes.
Tulane, the last time they dealt with Ole Miss was the 2-10 season last year, and they got the brakes beat off of them.
Yeah.
That game, I think, spiraled into what happened to Tulane last season. What happens next season? No Tajay Spears. Pratt's coming back. Michael Pratt's back, and they still have, I believe, a majority of their defense coming back. Correct. I
Yes.
believe most of that defense is coming back. It ranked in the top 15 in America this year
Mm-hmm.
prior to bowl season. And yeah, the U.S. and that's including the first UCF game, which they lost. So
Yeah.
I believe, in my mind, Tulane can compete at Ole Miss. Ole Miss underwhelmed when they ran into real opposition. I think they're going to look at Tulane and look. Tulane fans are going to be jacked up. Y'all thought we were,
Oh yeah.
we were there against UCF for the championship. I think we may get a higher atmosphere against Ole Miss because Ole Miss is going to bring some people. Bet,
They will.
big bet. They're going to bring a truckload of people. All them beer guzzlers, oversized
Mm-hmm.
goofballs. You know, that's this atmosphere against Ole Miss because it's going to be treated as a big game. Ole Miss will be ranked next year.
Yeah.
I believe you
They
said
both
it's
will
the
be
opening
ranked, I
game.
believe.
Now the next question is: are the three of us going to? Well, you will, but will we reunite again in that game? Being at
If
Yeoman.
if I'm still here in this state, if I'm still here, nothing changes for me. I'm there for that one. I definitely
Indeed.
want to be there for that
Eh,
one. And to me, it's and like Jared said and other people said, we're calling the fans out. They came out big time for this Cotton Bowl, unbelievable. We're calling them out right now because plain and simple, are you going to be in that number? And right now, I seen the season ticket sales. It looks pretty good. It looks damn good because almost everything is gone for season tickets.
hmm.
So to me, if you're packing it out for that game, I'm proud of what they did in the combo. I'm proud of what they did in the conference championship. Want Tulane fans, let's do it all season next year in Yeoman. And let's make Yeoman a fun place to play and a tough place to play too. Let's make this a good atmosphere, as good as anyone in the nation and in the state of Louisiana, because we know how tough Tiger Stadium is. We know how tough sometimes Jaguar Nation is at Southern and also Southeastern. Let's make the atmosphere one of the best in the state and tough. Please. We don't want no more we don't want no more country club atmosphere. We want straight atmosphere. We want straight hyped up atmosphere, crazy atmosphere, like we did at the Cotton Bowl, like we did it at the conference championship. Let's have it all season next year, and let's make the Ole Miss fans look stupid, especially they come home with an L next season.
I'm gonna say this: if Ole Miss is bringing a lot of people, and Tulane has a lot of people that's coming, they might want to move this to the Superdome. Just saying. I'm just saying.
Mm. It's
Sure.
I'm like this.
I
They
mean, ULL and Mississippi State did it a couple years ago.
well, that's ULL. It's not a bad idea. It's really not. You know what I'm saying? And that's something they're gonna have to look into. And then it just depends on the schedule that weekend if the Saints are playing or not. But you know,
The
it's
Saints don't play
not
that week. That's Labor Day weekend.
okay. That might not be a bad idea, but I don't Ellis don't they have no, they don't have that kickoff next year. That's right, it's in Florida. Uh well, they're gonna have to see what the dome says if they can rent it out or not. Because remember, Oklahoma and Tulane, they didn't move that to the dome.
They
That
sure
was
didn't.
They supposed to be Yeoman, and then all of a sudden Ida happened.
That's correct.
So trust me, I don't think they're gonna. It's a good idea, and I always say they play a much bigger school. Like Ole Miss is a great school. Not saying it's bigger. I'm saying if they play at Tennessee, yeah, you move that to the dome. You play at Georgia, yeah, you move that to the dome. Ole Miss, that's a maybe. But at the same
I
time,
won't say maybe because
it's
not
spec
a
a lot
far
of people.
drive. That's not a far drive to New Orleans from Ole Miss. That's about a 4.5, 5 hour drive.
5 hour.
Yeah.
Wait, actually, come to find out, five, 5.5. I'm
It
saying
take me
five.
5.5. It take me 5.5 to get to Memphis.
It's 5.5 for you,
To Memphis.
Mister
That's fast enough.
8590.
No,
No. See, no. See,
no,
no.
no,
I'm not trying. No. Let's
no.
be real. Let's be real.
75.80. No
No,
85.90. No.
8590. No, 8590,
75.80.
brother.
No.
Come on,
No.
brother.
85.90. No shot. Them
80,
cops, them cops
85,
be on
regardless.
them cops be on 55, dog. No way.
No,
Oh, this is the Casio 55.
Them
But I'm
cops be on
saying,
55. Not
I'm, I'm
55.
I'm saying that as a resident of Clarksdale, Mississippi, knowing that's a 5.5 hour drive from here, it's just about 5.5 from here to there because you're going almost the same exact way. The thing is, when you go on 55, you're gonna take that road. That's another 30 minutes. So it's probably, if it ain't 5.5, it's at least 5.
You
you
forgot I
know,
went to Ole Miss when La Tech beat them.
I
yeah.
went to Ole Miss too a couple
You
times.
did go. You did go a couple times.
That's what I'm saying,
Yeah,
but I'm just
I'm going to
saying,
Memphis. I'm going to Memphis Friday.
I'll be god
Go
dog.
ahead, George.
Go, George.
You talking about for the Memphis for the Pelicans playing Memphis Friday, right?
I don't know. I don't think
Oh,
so.
I mean, I don't. I know they lost tonight at Boston, 125-114. Don't know if y'all saw that.
Ooh,
Yeah,
that was a
CJ
good
went
one.
wild. But look, all right, going back to Tulane, they did round out the non-conference. They announced that a few days ago. An interesting in-state opponent, and it's going to be at Yeoman. Nichols will come here to
Mm.
Yeoman on the 23rd of September. But the new conference members included his VK Jones adopted alma mater, and it's going to be a road game this year. That's the team he calls straight trash. Tulane goes to Rice this year. Just throwing it out there. What if Rice was to beat Tulane, sir? Would you eliminate the label? They won't. I mean, they got no shot. But I continue to dig at you because you slander programs on the regular. You just completely
Man,
discombobulate programs.
look, I
Trash.
slander programs because I want to slander them because I want better for them programs. That's what I'm not a hater. I'm a money motivator. And my thing, I'm
Yes,
just like
indeed.
Deion Sanders. I'm a money motivator, baby. You gotta improve. You improve, I take it off. I was
Money
not gonna take
motivated.
that label off. I was not gonna take that label off of Rice, even if they won the bowl game. It's a loot. You still don't have a winning record. Prove to me that you are, and I'll take it off. So sorry, Rice still has that label
I
until
know they
that
do.
changes.
I'm just throwing it out there, but you're a money
Oh no.
motivator. That's a good thing. The only problem is, I remember a very vivid discussion where money motivator was missing from your resume. 300,000 and $7.5 million leaving Yeoman Stadium. I'm just saying. You saw the light then, correct, Jared?
Yes.
All right, that's what I thought.
Uh,
But I
of course, I seen the light. And that's
Yeah,
why
in the words
Colorado's going to take over in a couple years. I smell it.
right. That ain't happening.
I freaking smell it.
All right, you smelling foul because Colorado taking over nothing.
might be some gas, but who knows?
TC gonna beat Colorado with week 1 or week 2.
Yeah,
Not next year,
yes they
but
are.
a couple years from now. You know what I'm
They,
saying?
they
When
ain't they
USC,
ain't taking over ever. They ain't taking
dang,
over ever.
you wishing
I ain't
bad
wi-
on
I ain't wishing
No,
Saxon.
bad. I'm not wishing
I
bad on
see.
Dion. I'm just keeping it real.
Oregon is going to be the alpha dog in that conference. Washington has made some come up.
He ain't beating
With
Utah.
Utah is going to be the new dog of that conference. But Colorado is going to make their way into contention. They'll find their way into contention and maybe steal a win or two here or there. Will they be elite? No. I do think Dion made the right choice. I mean, there's no doubt about that
Of
in my
course,
mind.
you would have got
But
killed
that
that
being
TC.
but that being said, Colorado, it's going to take time. They won one football game last year. This is rock bottom in its highest order. They're going to take time to rebuild. It's not immediate. Yes, Shador is going to be the quarterback. Yes, they're going to bring an influx of talent, but they're not just going to rip off 1-11 to. And right, if they want to use the Tulane model, great, because Willie Fritz has now set the bar extremely high. for quick turnarounds. But you know what Tulane did it on? Getting themselves better and not influxing a lot of talent. They kept the same core from last year and
Mm-hmm.
they won 13 games, 12 games. No,
Yeah.
wait,
12.
12.
13, right, Jared? 12,
12.
okay.
Yeah.
But
12.
they won it without the influx of transfer portals and whatnot. They won it
Mm.
with players believing in the system, believing in the coach. So that's the model you want to use. Willie Fritz's model works. It still does. And for me to put a bow on it, this was special. And we were a part of it, Jared more than us. But to be a part of this season was special. I mean, I've seen a lot of great things in New Orleans in my years covering sports and watching sports, but Tulane's football season immediately goes to the front of the precipice for story of the year.
Yeah.
But that's a discussion to be had on another day. So now let's see if this basketball teams can make hay because they look improved. They look improved. Ron Hunter's got a good thing going there. They beat Memphis a week and a half or so ago, and that's supposed to be one of the alpha dogs in the AAC. Um, but we're gonna see if Tulane could steal a postseason bid somewhere this year. Who knows? Maybe they go on a run in the AAC, win it. I think it's gonna be tough because UCF's good, but Tulane Sports is looking at the baseball team. I think with a new manager, new coach, I think they're a team on the come. So for the Tulane athletic supporters, the future is absolutely looking brighter. And that's my postmortem on Tulane for now.
And I
All
think there's
right.
been great moments in New Orleans overall. This is a great overall moment. We have seen a lot in this city. Tulane is just another one. You've seen a lot. The Saints with the Super Bowl. I'm like this. What's next? And I'm like this. The Pelicans are next. Give it about a couple of years. It's coming. It's coming. You see, we seen the process. What happened with the Saints, and years later they won that Super Bowl. We seen the process with Tulane, and you seen what happened this year. Watch what happens with the New Orleans Pelicans. It might not happen this year, but it's happening down the line. It is happening down the line. I'm telling you, New Orleans is going to be a city of champions. It's happening.
All right. All right. So before we get out of here, ladies and gents, join us tomorrow at 7:30. We'll be at 7:30. We're going to talk more about the Pelicans tomorrow. Talk a little bit about the Saints also. And then we'll get into some high school basketball here in the state of Louisiana. Talk about the All-State Sugar Bowl Prep Classic, basketball classic that just happened at the Larry Center. And, get some, get, let y'all know about, who we think can make a run and all that good stuff in high school basketball. We'll see. But just make sure you tune in. Other than that, VK, any last words?
Man, great to be back tonight. You know what I'm saying? We sorry we stretched everything out, but I'm glad we got to what we had to get to tonight, man. It was good to be here tonight and all to the good. Hash it out. Thank y'all for coming on to this show. All the comments, especially through YouTube tonight. That's a real good thing. We're growing our audience through Facebook and YouTube. Join us every week. You ought to be very fortunate, and you ought to be really lucky because we're doing 2 shows this week, tonight, tomorrow. Tune in. It's very, very good, very fresh sports topics for you. And we're gonna talk some hoops tomorrow. And I gotta ask Jared some off air about a particular game we will discuss that's gonna be huge on Friday. So we'll tell you about that tomorrow.
George Peppers?
Well, I mean, I'm going to piggyback off of what BK said. This is our first show of 2023.
Yeah.
Jared, you put this baby together. This is the year of acceleration for this show. Time to put the pedal to the metal and let's take this show to different levels. We're getting an audience. People are listening. And look, that spirited debate at the beginning of the show tonight, expect a lot more of it as things become topical as we go on into the year. There's going to be a lot more of this. Get
Yeah.
used to it. But you know what? At the end of the day, it's knowledge, it's analysis. There's no inherent bias, well, except for BK's mad love for Stetson Bennett, but that's another story. But look, I I love the fact that we can do this. I will join you tomorrow night because I do work tomorrow, but I'm gonna hit my 4 day off weekend after I get off tomorrow. And so I will join you guys tomorrow night. I will admit one thing, and I'm going to do my research on this tomorrow before we hit the air at 7:30 because I have not followed a lot of prep basketball. Again, y'all know my work schedule. It's 16 hours on the regular, and
Right.
it's tough to keep up with things. So I'm going to do a little bit of crash coursing. I may just piggyback and get you guys to assist. I will study my part, but I haven't seen none of these teams. You guys have. So this is where teamwork makes the dream work,
That's right.
and
That's
on that,
right.
and that's how it works. This is a beautiful thing we're doing, and this is a fresh. How can I say it? Fresh three voices for New Orleans. Well, the three of us together. I don't want to say lamb chops and tuna fish like the boy in Big Daddy the movie with
Mhm.
Adam Sandler, but no, this is a great concoction we've put together that you, Jared, have given birth to. We're just glad to be a part of, and we're very fortunate. And going forward, like I said, 2023, we're going to hit the gas pedal, looking for bigger and brighter things, and to continued supporters. We thank you for your comments. We thank you. Love to see more questions. I see a lot of opinions, but I
Definitely.
would love to see more questions going forward because guess what, guys? We're open books, all three of us. We'll answer anything you ask, anything, you know.
Not
But
okay.
I thank you guys for the opportunity again, and I will be with y'all tomorrow night. Now I'm gonna stick around after we get off because I want to hear about this game VK's talking about. But
Yeah, me
we'll
too.
figure. Yeah. So, for the audience, thank you. We love you. To you too, I love you both, like brothers, and that won't change at all. And on that note, good night, ladies and gentlemen, from me.
And one thing before we get off air, uh, go to my page, Jones on Facebook. I don't know if Jared's gonna have time to put the link up. This is a link right here. Thank you, Jared. Appreciate you. This is a link. I am coaching a middle school team, T.H. Harris Middle School in Metairie, Louisiana. We got our season about to get started in a couple weeks. We actually have our preseason game, our first preseason game coming up next Saturday, January 21st. And we have a fundraiser. We are trying to raise about $6,000 right now. And right now we're at 1,200. We're trying to get the $6,000 to get a little more football equipment for our team. We have over 35 players and we really need your help. Jefferson Parish is a little bit of a struggle more than anything else, and I'm not going to really, knock them too much. But at the same time, they're lacking in a little bit of budget, a little bit of equipment. But also T.H. Harris, we have a lot of older equipment, and we're trying to get some things new, more fittable, and more comfortable for our players and everything. So this is our link right here. Go to the link right here, and this is the link to our fundraiser for T.H. Harris for the football team. And big shout out to the head coach, Coach Cedric Governor, and also our assistant coaches. But we really need your help. Donate as much as you can. It could be $1, it could be $5, it could be $1,000. Whatever you want to donate it today. We need as much as possible. Our season starts in exactly 2 weeks. We have two preseason games coming up, one next week, one the week after, before we get into our regular season. So we really need your help. There's the link. Go on there, donate whatever you want to the TH Harris Raiders football team. We really need your help. We really, really appreciate it. So just do that for us, and you'll definitely be blessed. Thank you so much.
Most definitely, man. Definitely. Um, Most definitely, my friend. We'll be back tomorrow. And I can say this. I can say this. Next week, we will have Coach Scott the Kennedy girls basketball team, the head coach of the Kennedy girls basketball team, will be joining us next week. We just gotta get a date, either Wednesday or Thursday of next week. She has agreed to come on the show and talk with us, VK. She has
Absolutely.
agreed to do that.
And we might have a little something next week as well. You know what I'm saying? I'll talk to you about that as well because we got a big city game coming up next week. And I'm thinking about getting a couple coaches on the show because Xavier and Dillard has their rematch next Thursday night.
Ooh. Okay.
And I have an idea that we need to get a couple coaches on for that to preview those particular matchups next week in the Convocation Center next Thursday night. So that's something I'll talk to you off air about. But we got some exclusives coming up. We're gonna hit hard at hoops, but we also have some exclusive interviews, and I'm talking about some big time legendary interviews coming up. We're not going to tell you what it is now,
Don't tell me
but
yet. Don't tell
we
me yet.
got something lined up for you. Stay tuned on Hash It Out. I'm telling you, you're not going to regret it. We're growing the audience, and hopefully the audience is going to get bigger when we get these interviews, man. We're lining them up, and hopefully we get some other good ones in the future as well. Hopefully one famous alumnus, hopefully they can join us sooner or later, but I don't know if that's going to happen. But big ups to him himself. Not going to say his name, but he know who he is on Twitter. He know who he is on Instagram. But at the same time, we got some exclusive stuff coming up for you. Stay tuned.
And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we will see y'all tomorrow, 7:30.